Default aggressive. Proactive and aggressive are similar, and they are both good. You certainly have to be proactive in the world. You want to be dictating what happens, not responding to it. And yes, that means creating or controlling a situation as much as you can. But being aggressive, that means you are ready to attack. As I always point out, this doesn't mean you walk around with your chest puffed out, ready to bang heads with everyone around you. It doesn't mean you confront people physically or mentally head on without a tactically superior plan. It doesn't mean you go straight forward into conflict without thought and without reason. It doesn't mean you engage in attrition warfare. No. That is almost never smart. What it does mean is that you are going to get after it. You are going to move fast. You are going to think fast. You are going to outthink and outmaneuver the enemy. If I think the enemy is going to attack me, I'm going to attack them first. If I think they are going to seize a piece of terrain, I am going to be there waiting for them. If I think the enemy is going to flank me, too late, I'm already flanking them. I don't view aggression as an outward attitude. I view aggression as an internal character trait. A fire in your mind that says, I am going to win. I am going to battle, and I am going to fight, and I am going to use every tool I have to crush my enemy. And that tool might be fists, but it might be guile. It might be a frontal attack, but it might be a flanking maneuver. It might be an undeniable display of force, but it also might be a subtle political maneuver. And that is what aggression is to me, the unstoppable fighting spirit, the drive, the burning desire to achieve mission success using every possible tool, asset, and strategy and tactic to bring about victory. It is the will to win. And if that kind of internal, relentless aggression is your default mode, you will win. Nature versus nurture. What is more important, nature or nurture? In my opinion, neither. I have seen people from every stratum of life. In the military, I worked with every type of person. Ivy League kids with silver spoons, former gangbangers, hood rats, prep school kids, kids from blue-collar families, kids from strong families, and kids with no families, kids who were pampered, and kids who were abused, and everything in between. Everything. And with all those different types of people, there were good and bad, successful and unsuccessful. And in working with businesses, I see the same thing. People from every walk of life, from the bottom to the top, and I have seen every type of person be successful. So to me, it is not about nature or nurture. It is about choice. The people who are successful decide they are going to be successful. They make that choice. And they make other choices. They decide to study hard. They decide to work hard. They decide to be the first person to get to work and the last to go home. They decide they're going to take on the hard jobs, take on the challenges. They decide they are going to lead when no one else will. They choose who they are going to hang around, and they choose who they will emulate. They choose to become who they want to become. They aren't inhibited by nature or nurture. They overcome both. And I'll tell you something else. It is never too late to make that choice. You are never too old to decide where you are going to focus your efforts and push to make the most out of every situation. So, think not about what you've been through. and where you were. Think about where you are going and choose. Choose to make yourself smarter and stronger and healthier. Choose to work out and study and eat good food and keep your mind clean. Don't let nature or nurture make you. Choose to make yourself. Fear of failure. Fear of failure can keep you from taking risk. It can leave you sitting there paralyzed into not taking action. And that is obviously bad. But I don't want you to overcome fear of failure. I want you to be afraid of failure. Fear of failure is good. Fear of failure will keep you up at night planning, rehearsing, going over contingencies. Fear of failure will keep you training hard. Fear of failure will stop you from cutting corners. Fear of failure will keep you working, thinking, striving, and relentlessly trying to be more prepared for battle. So I want you to be afraid of failing. I fear failure. But more important, I want you to be horrified, terrified of sitting on the sidelines and doing nothing. That is what I want you to be afraid of. Waking up in 6 days or 6 weeks or 6 years or 60 years and being no closer to your goal. You've made no progress. That is the horror. That is the nightmare. That is what you really need to be afraid of, being stagnant. So, get up and go. Take the risk, take the gamble, take the first step, take action. And don't let another day slip by. The warpath. The path. The warpath. A path of war. The actual definition of warpath means moving toward a battle, a fight, toward war. And that is what I am doing, and what I have always been doing. Whether it was the actual war against our nation's enemies or the war against my own weaknesses, that is what I am doing. Preparing, sharpening my sword, honing my skills, maintaining the unmitigated daily discipline in all things. And the warpath is a path. It's a route. It leads somewhere. Where does it lead? Yes, it can lead to war, and that is fine because I am ready. I am waiting. But the war might not come. And that is okay. Because the warpath is also a war against weakness. And so it leads to strength. It is a war against ignorance, and so it leads to knowledge. It is a war against confusion, and so it delivers understanding. And the warpath leads to control and to ownership of your life. That is the warpath. The path of fire and adversity. The path of blood and sweat and suffering. The warpath is the interminable path of discipline, which is why it leads to freedom. And beyond that, in the end, the warpath leads to peace.